Welcome to the Lighthouse in Modern Mystery Quiltalong.
Time for another great summer of mystery and enjoyment.
And fun. And quilting.
Oh yeah, there's that too.
So this video is to help you decide whether this is a good fit for your interests and your type of quilting and your comfort with technology, because it's all online.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the fabrics you can use for this later in the video. But the first thing to talk about is, if you want to take part in this, you go to modernquiltstudio.com and you purchase the Lighthouse in Modern Mystery Quiltalong.
There'll also be a link in the description.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a one-time cost of $35 that includes all of the installments, the supplemental videos, and fun additions, which you'll hear about in a moment.
So when you go to purchase the Modern Mystery Quiltalong, the Lighthouse in Modern Mystery Quiltalong, on our website, you'll receive an emailed receipt. If you don't see it immediately, look in your spam filter, because a lot of our emails apparently go there.
But it will automatically be sent as soon as you complete your purchase.
So definitely don't wait 4 months or whatever to let us know if there's any issue. Let us know right away if you don't receive that receipt. But on that receipt, there will be a link. There'll be an expiration date.
You have 60 days to click on that link and download what's called the Concierge Manual. It's a simple 2-page file, a PDF file, that has the address to the secret web portal that will give you all of the information, access to all of the installments and the videos.
So you want to print that out so you have that address, because everything you're going to need for the entire Quiltalong will be there.
Yeah, we don't send any additional emails.
No,
you won't be getting
additional links,
nothing.
Yeah,
once you have that concierge manual from your original receipt, you click on that link, you save the file, you print it out, you're good to go.
So make sure that you have that. Even if you don't plan to start for several months, make sure you've downloaded that and you have printed it out so you know where to access all of the instructions for whenever you're ready to start.
Because if you don't, that link expires after 60 days and our system does not allow us to resend it or reactivate it. And that's very clear in the directions. So please purchase, click, save, print.
Yeah, there you go.
And then you have access to what's called the front desk. Now, the front desk is where you will be working this summer.
Because the front desk is part of the Lighthouse Inn, and you will be working as a concierge as part of this Quiltalong. And as in your role as a concierge at the Lighthouse Inn, you'll be assisting guests with special requests, with events that they may have planned, with special needs that they may have, and you might have to deal with some shenanigans that happen.
Oh, I think there's some shenanigans
at the inn. So you will have the ability to personalize this experience and share with others in the Facebook group, the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Facebook groups, if you choose, your approach to being a concierge.
And as concierge, we, Weeks and Bill, are the innkeepers, and we will be giving you periodic assignments on the schedule that you'll see on the front desk. Each of those assignments is an installment in the mystery quilt.
So that you'll be making when you're not helping guests.
Exactly.
So the first assignment...
Oh, and if you didn't notice... This is the Lighthouse Inn. You'll find out more about it as the summer goes along.
You'll see all kinds of different things at the Lighthouse Inn. The first installment for this Quiltalong will begin June 1st. So you have a whole month to think about it, to get ready, to purchase fabric, and we'll give you some advice here on that. And there will be weekly assignments that are added to the front desk secret portal. Again, no emails. You'll be checking in at noon Central Time to see what the new assignment has been loaded up into the front desk portal.
So your first assignment will arrive at the front desk on June 1st. You'll get periodic installments and assignments, and then the final one is July 12th, which is also the date of the big reveal.
We'll be having, as we have in previous Quiltalongs, a virtual exhibition of your work as well for those who want to participate in that. And that we'll start taking submissions for that on August 9th, and the exhibition itself will go online on August 16th.
And as Weeks mentioned earlier, there's a lot of support and community around this on the optional. For those who are on Facebook, the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics group has just so much support, and there will be hundreds of people all over the world participating in the Lighthouse in Quiltalong.
We typically have between 1,200 and 1,700 people involved in our Quiltalongs, but there are 15,000 people, more than 15,000 people in that Facebook group from 6 continents. So you'll have a lot of support and different points of view. But
and silliness.
That is a silly, fun, and very, very talented,
positive and
group.
talented group. Yes.
A lot of people tell us that participating in that group adds to their fun and is helpful
Very
for them
helpful.
in getting a second opinion, because Bill and I will be managing the inn.
Yes.
And
We're the innkeepers.
all of its parts. So we're not able to offer one-on-one fabric selection advice
or technical advice.
But we comment as often as we are able in that group, and that is the best place to get help, whether it's from us or others in the group. So
it's great.
We encourage participation in that.
Then additional details such as the sizes. There are 2 options. There's what we call a napping quilt, which is roughly 50 by 78 in this case. And then there's an optional queen size, which is 96 by 92. There's a little wiggle room. And the specifications for how much fabric you would need for either are listed on the product page before you purchase the Quiltalong. So you can look there. Then again, once you do purchase it, those specifications are in the concierge manual in that 2-page file that you get.
So in general, regardless of whether you're making the napping or the queen, there will be, we have set up a special bundle, a starter bundle for those who want to participate and use the fabrics we'll be using. This Quiltalong is part of our 25th anniversary.
It's a big deal for
celebration.
us.
So our friends at Benertex have put together, we chose the colors and they packaged up for us a special 25th anniversary bundle of Superior Solids.
And this bundle is optional. This is a stash-friendly Quiltalong, but it's going to look fantastic with this bundle.
And because it's a scrap-friendly, stash-friendly Quiltalong, if you buy this bundle, you can also use it in conjunction with any other scraps that you may have or other solids you may have in your own collection. A lot of times people, when we do stash-friendly Quiltalongs, they ask what the minimum size is, and that's about 3 inches.
Yeah, if you have little 3-inch squares, you're going to be able to use those pretty effectively in this quilt. So we're going to talk about this bundle a little bit, and then we'll talk about the other options of tone-on-tones that you can use, some do's and don'ts. But this bundle of 25 fabrics is divided into a group of 12 kind of lightish medium tones, 12 darker ones, and then in the middle to divide this is 1 fat quarter of vanilla. Now, the way this works, the majority of you are probably going to be making a napping quilt. And with the napping quilt, you are going to need basically this 2 to 3 yards of a darker and 2 to 3 yards of a lighter group. So
or a darker and a medium, or a medium and a light. but two distinct groups. They don't have to be, it's not the case that it was in Transparency, where there's a one-on-one relationship.
Not at all.
It's just two different groups that are very clear in their value ranges.
So if you put the two piles side by side, each fabric would feel at home in its own pile. And then if you get this anniversary bundle, you will also need, and everyone will also need, 3 yards of a contrasting field or background fabric. Sometimes we call it a field fabric, sometimes we call it a background fabric. We are actually going to use 3 yards of the vanilla, and we're doing that because you have very clear contrast with all of these fabrics and all of these. If we picked a pale blue background fabric, then we'd have to make a couple different decisions because maybe the pale blues would blend in and not look good, and we might make a couple changes. So you could use this bundle in conjunction with different background fabrics, but if you do that, you might have to edit it a little bit.
Let's talk quickly in a very kind of concise way about just the basic color theory that will be involved in that. Would you mind grabbing the color wheel, please? So just as a quick overview, there are 3 words that you will want to know as you work on this quilt and choose your fabrics. The first is hue. And on this color wheel that Bill developed, hue is expressed with these spokes. Value is the lightness or darkness of the hue. And you can see that on the perimeter here, you'll see that the value is darker and it's lighter as you move into the center. Saturation is the third word that we'll be using when we talk about color in this Quiltalong. And saturation is the most pure form of the color. Typically, dusty colors are less saturated and brights are more saturated. But that is a concept we'll be going through more and more as in discussion for those of you who participate in the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics Facebook group. The feedback you will get to help you understand if you're struggling with your palette. Those are the words that we'll be using so we can all be on the same page in terms of talking about color.
And for this Quiltalong, we're suggesting you have kind of a group 1 and a group 2 that are different values. So the ones on this side,
saturations.
Exactly. These are all similar in terms of the lightness. These are similar in terms of the darkness, but there aren't any fabrics that are exaggerated or very different in terms of saturation. There's no neon green or hot pink.
There's there's a little bit of bright and a little bit of neutral here.
Yeah.
But that's enough to just give you contrast
without making it dull. You
without
want a
making it
little
shocking.
Yeah, you want a little variety, but you don't want, if you looked several feet away at this, if there's one fabric that just screams at you because it's so bright or looks like it doesn't belong because it was left out in the sun and weathered or something or got dirty, then that's something you would edit.
So that is the general group of fabrics that we'll be using for our palette.
Yeah, so group 1, group 2, contrasting background fabric.
So let me show you some others that would also work. And
let me move this aside.
The first one is our transparency bundle that we used for the Secret Agent Quiltalong. This bundle has lights and darks, and you can see it on our website. And this would work.
Even though it's not a transparency
quilt, but these fabrics are such worker bee sorts of fabrics that this bundle would work beautifully with, again, the background fabric that you would want to use.
Exactly. And you could also supplement it with fabrics from your stash.
Exactly. Now, let's say you wanted to do something, use multicolored fabrics from your stash. The kind of fabrics that would work best would be smaller scale if you're going to go multicolored. You could also go sort of more tone on tone. So these are examples of fabrics that we think would work in this Quiltalong.
Especially like in this case, you could have this could be in a slightly darker pile, that could be in a slightly lighter pile, in the group 1 and group 2.
So high contrast fabrics are going to be harder because it's harder to see the value in this in general.
Yeah, it's like the background is light, but the print is dark, and it's just a little distracting because...
And we always want to say when we're giving fabric advice, we're not telling you not to do something. What we're trying to do is give you the best shot at success and ending up with a quilt that you're happy with.
Exactly.
And
these aren't absolutes.
Right.
They're kind
just
of
general guidance to help you along, and you can take the advice, or not. So high contrast prints like this would be a little bit more difficult. Here's another one that's a very high contrast print with a larger motif, because some of these pieces are going to be small. So having a smaller scale is going to be a little bit easier.
Yeah. We always talk about fabrics that cut up well. Fabrics that if you cut a 1-inch square or a 4-inch square look fairly similar. That's kind of a good place to start, because if you look at a border print such as this, if you cut a 2-inch square, it could look very distracting, because it looks very chopped up.
Yeah. Another one that would be hard would be something like this that has a large motif, because that large motif, when you start to cut it up, can become kind of distracting. It sort of takes over.
Yeah, you no longer see the piece of the patchwork.
All you're looking at is this big
motif. The print.
So if you decide to use batiks, having a batik that is less modeled like this one is going to be easier to use than one with more modeling like this. So that contrast in this is a little tricky to use. But if you have, again, this is as a general rule, the less modeling, the easier it will be.
So basically, tone on tones, solids, near tone on tones, smaller scale prints all work pretty well. There's a lot of flexibility, but again, choosing a contrasting background fabric is as important as anything else.
And we will add a link below for our YouTube tutorial on choosing background fabrics for pattern building part 2. That is a very helpful video that will give you guidance, specific guidance on how to choose background fabrics. Because the one thing that we're going to recommend is that's different than the way many people choose fabrics is to not choose a background fabric that matches the rest of the palette. Contrast is key. So one more little tip here. Let's say you wanted to do a gray-black version here. You can see that this could be your dark grouping and this could be your medium grouping. But can you see that the white here, the white becomes very distracting. I'm going to put it in the middle here so you can see it a little bit more even. That having just one fabric with white in it becomes very distracting in your quilt. So if you really want to use white fabrics, fabrics with white in them, use a lot of fabrics with white in them.
You don't want one that stands out.
Because it will stand out for sure.
And if you were doing a quilt like that, your contrasting fabric could be so many things. It could be pumpkin orange, it could be hot pink, it could be an off-white. Once again, we're using the vanilla off-white just because it feels nice and summery.
But the background fabric, I'd recommend it not be hot pink, because then all you're going to see is the hot pink.
That just draws so much attention.
Exactly. So with this particular Quiltalong, I wouldn't advise screaming background colors, because it will take over the rest of the work you'll be doing so so carefully.
But we would suggest that you choose, like, it's really smart to pick that background fabric at the beginning so that you know all along what that's going to be. Even if you don't need it right away in the assignments you're given, I think it really helps to have made that decision ahead of time so there aren't problems later.
And that if you decide to use your scraps, you know to stay away from that particular hue and value and saturation because you'll want that contrast.
Exactly. So we want you to be really successful in your job as concierge. And one way to do that, if you'd like, is to order the Essential Concierge Supplies. Now, these are totally optional.
Right, but one of these things is something you've been begging us for years, and that is, ta-da, the Modern Quilt Studio special color wheel. This is, you can tell it's on like a kind of a heavy, kind of almost a cardboard.
It's artboard. It's not cardboard. It's like high-end.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful artboard. It has little explanations of things like hue, saturation, and value. For those of you who have enjoyed transparencies, there's a little kind of primer of hue-based and value-based transparencies. And because we want you to feel decadent, I don't know if you can see, it has a golden edge. So this is kind of our deluxe color wheel that will be part of the concierge supplies.
Yeah. And because we are ridiculous and totally silly, we decided that you needed a door hanger. Yes. On one side, it says, "Do not disturb, I'm quilting." But on the other side, if you need this for anybody in your household, cleaning is requested. And please, housekeeping, please tidy by hue. Always. You want to tidy by hue.
So of course you need that.
You need the door hanger just to make sure everybody in your household is going to cooperate with your concierge activities.
Then when you're checking into an inn, of course you need the little inn custom pen and notepad, and you'll be taking a lot of notes, I'm sure, as you work on this.
Yes,
so that's good. Then in addition,
because we're so ridiculous.
We are so ridiculous. What would be the point of being a concierge if you couldn't hand out little
ample supplies,
dinner mints, tuck them on people's pillows, have them in the bowl? So there'll be a Lighthouse Inn buttermints.
Buttermints, yes.
So
that is the essential.
There will be a couple of those mints. If you look, here's the assembly. You've got the deluxe color wheel, the hanger, the mints, and the pen and pad. And then for those of you who want the whole shebang,
the whole experience,
there's the Deluxe Concierge Box,
and
which
that
would
comes
include
with the anniversary bundle,
the 25th anniversary bundle,
in a special box.
And it's all in a nice reusable box. It fits beautifully in here. And
it protects your color wheel to make sure that doesn't get bent.
And the color wheel is shipped in a very nice acetate sleeve to protect it.
A piece of chipboard.
So all of this is together the deluxe bundle. Those are on our website. Again, if
totally
you want
optional.
Totally optional. You can work with your stash. You can work with the whole shebang. We want you to have fun. So you know what fun means to you. Personally, I love the door hangers. and if I have the feeling the mints are going to be, it's going to be dangerous having all these mints in the studio.
Well, I'm hoping that we're going to be shipping them out all over the place.
It's like one for them, one for me, one for them. And so we've got all this going on, and you'd think that's enough, but you'll notice, well, when you get to the front desk, that secret web page, and when you download your concierge manual, you'll see a couple other things.
There's the beacon, which is the pop-up shop on Printify.
It's the official gift shop of the Lighthouse Inn.
The Lighthouse Inn, where you can order your T-shirts and mugs.
There'll be interesting merch
other kind of silliness. They can't order the mints there.
No,
that's an exclusive thing.
The mints are, nope, can't, and you can't order the door hangers there. They're just in these packets. And same with the pens and the notepads. You can, however, order the color wheel individually if you'd like. So that's also an item on our website. Then we heard from so many of you in the last Quiltalong that you loved having a soundtrack. So we just can't leave well enough alone. There are 3 soundtracks
Well,
this
because
time.
the inn is big.
It's a big inn.
And there's different atmospheres for different parts of the inn at different times of day.
So tell us about the atmospheres.
So we felt that there needed to be a dining room soundtrack. And that would be kind of
mid-tempo,
upbeat classics, but not super fast-paced. Because we like to encourage conversation in the dining room, because there's not going to be any screens. Nobody's going to be looking at their phones in the dining room. This is all about civilized conversation in the dining room. So that's there's a playlist there. And then the lounge.
There's a cocktail lounge.
Yeah, and that has to be, sort of just add candlelight, just a hint of romance. And maybe there's some
popular,
Billie
some
Holiday,
upbeat.
and some classics, but also some
a good lounge vibe.
Yeah, lounge vibe.
But when you want the really upbeat pop, you're going poolside.
Poolside, yes.
So that's
and nobody's saying that you can't order the cocktail or the mocktail poolside also, but that's a different time of day typically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So basically, you're going to have a great time making this quilt.
Oh, so we have to tell them the poolside playlist.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
the
poolside
they get
playlist.
To discover it too.
Well, but those are kind of timeless, popular music from the 60s all the way up, and actually maybe even some from the 50s up until today. So there will be summertime vibes,
Summertime fun.
Summertime classics from multiple generations on the poolside playlist.
So that's what we've got in store for you. There are other surprises coming along. During the Quiltalong, there will be 2 of our Quilt's first live streams on Facebook on June 1st, which is launch date, and July 1st. So we'll be taking questions on those days as well. We can't wait to see what you make. The quilts from the previous Secret Agent Quiltalong have been spectacular. If you haven't seen that virtual exhibition, I think there are maybe 160 people have uploaded their images to that already, and literally every day we're getting more. So we hope this goes in a similarly wonderful way. We want to see you at the Lighthouse Inn.
You're welcome to participate in the Modern Quilt Studio Patterns and Fabrics group on Facebook. And if you want to, you can identify yourself as a concierge, share what your concierge name is, what special skills you'll be bringing to your concierge job. And
it's not a job interview. You've got the job.
Yeah, you've already got the job. Yeah.
But we'd love to know, what is your concierge alias? What are the gifts you're going to be sharing with the guests? And as part of that, that group is all about sharing and support.
And fun.
And
so we look forward to, as the innkeepers, we look forward to meeting all of our concierges. And we will be planning all kinds of other fun silliness as part of this Quiltalong. We always say that our Quiltalongs are a combination of fun and learning. So we really hope that will be the case for you.
We hope you love the quilts that you make. Everyone.
And you love the process of making.
The process is, I think those of you who have worked with us before, we're process people. We love the entire event. It's not just about making the quilt, but it should be a great quilt too. So we look forward to spending our summer at the Lighthouse Inn with you, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.